Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Successful Business Training Series, sponsored by the Communication Leader and the South Valley Economic Development Center. Please grab a notebook and get ready to improve your chances of business success. Now, one thing I want to talk about before we even start is that the road to success is always under construction. So no matter where you are now, no matter where you're going, you're always under construction. And you as a human being and your business as well. So if you're not quite where you want to be right now, well, that's okay, because you're always under construction. So is your business. And hopefully today's training will help you to get further along that road. Again, today's sponsor is us, the Communication Leader, in cooperation with the South Valley Economic Development Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you don't happen to be in Albuquerque, well, that's okay. If you're not in New Mexico, that's okay. As long as you're on your computer anywhere in the world, you can tune into these complimentary free training sessions anytime you want. Now, just a quick little note about us here at the Communication Leader. We are your premier resource for promoting your products and services, generating leads, and increasing profits by using powerful, profitable, and ethical persuasive communication strategies. And how do we help you do that? Well, we do it through things like this: live and online training, seminars, keynote speeches to your company or to your trade association, organizations. We also do group and individual coaching and consulting, and we'll tell you a little more about some of that later. But for now, let's just go with this. I am going to do my best to provide really excellent and useful content today. And then afterwards, I'm going to share how you can continue the journey and continue it with me, if you like. So if that sounds okay, please type yes or heck yeah or yeah baby or something in the question box, and that would be great, just so we're all in agreement here. Okay, so the title of our presentation today is Time Management for Managers and Entrepreneurs: How to Maximize Your Productivity and Increase Your Profits. All right, so if you'd like, I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but just I might go through it later. So if you could just let me know who you are, and maybe just tell me what kind of industry you're in, what type of business you're in. Are you an author? Are you a small business person? Are you in the food industry? Are you in the entertainment industry? Whatever your industry is, and what is your role? Are you the solo entrepreneur, meaning you are the business, right? Or are you a manager or a CEO, CFO, something like that? Are you an employee? What is it that you do in your industry? And then what is your biggest time challenge? And just for fun, what's your favorite hobby? Okay, so we're not going to take the time to go through those right now, but I might go through them later if we have time. But it's always fun for me just to kind of know who is on the line and who's learning this stuff, because that way I can also cater what I'm teaching to some of your needs. All right, so a little bit about me. I'm not going to go through too much stuff here, but just suffice it to say I've got a bunch of life experience, a bunch of business experience, a bunch of college degrees and advanced certifications. My wife and I operate a bunch of different websites and have for, oh my goodness, almost 20 years, maybe over 20 years now. Yikes, that's pretty scary. And then I've written a bunch of books and produced music CDs and done all kinds of performances and speeches all over the place. So I'm not going to sit here and show you pictures of my beautiful house in the mountains and my Rolls Royce and all that stuff. Oh, I don't have a Rolls Royce. Well, that's why I can't show you a picture of it. But if I had enough money for a Rolls Royce, I wouldn't buy a Rolls Royce. I'd buy something else or give it away. All right. So just briefly, though, just to let you know, couple of things that are really, really close to my heart are literacy and at-risk teens. And so whenever I do any kind of trainings or sell any kind of information products or books or CDs, anything like that, a portion of those proceeds goes to support literacy and motivational programs for children and at-risk teens. And there's a little picture of me right there. This kind of my alter ego is I'm the singing poet guy, okay? And I actually go around and do performances, educational performances for children in schools and libraries and churches and all kinds of different places, community centers, etc. So if you like that kind of stuff, I think it's really important that we help to promote that. And then also for me as a teenager, I kind of had a little rough time and didn't do so well in school, actually dropped out of school for a while. And so I was an at-risk teen. And so I like to give back and to help out those folks that are kind of like me when I was at that age. So anyway, let's move on. So during today's webinar, I'd like you to please promise me, excuse me, don't take any notes. Please check your email often. Please plug in your earbuds and listen to loud music and don't really listen to me. And don't participate in any of the activities or exercises that we're going to do. That way, you'll have to pay a whole bunch of money to come to one of my full day or 3-day seminars so you can learn all this stuff again. All right. Okay, seriously. Okay, let's look at why business owners fail. Well, unfortunately, there's a big list. But part of that list includes a failure to keep a to-do list, not setting personal goals, not prioritizing, failing to manage distractions, procrastination, taking on too much, thriving on being busy, multitasking, not taking breaks, and ineffectively scheduling tasks. Now, if you, like me, are guilty of some of these things, and if you, like me, have done these now even, okay, then just type in the question box, just say, yep, that's me, or guilty as charged, or something like that. And this is really important that you participate. I just do want to say, I was joking, of course, before about not participating, but it's really important that you do participate in the question and answer things here, even if I don't read all the answers out loud, because this is going to help you to internalize this information. So go ahead and type that into the question box as we're going along here. Yeah, I see a couple of guilty as charged. Yes, that's me. How did you know? Okay. All right. Now, let's go on, though, then think a little more positively and think about, well, how can business owners succeed? And when I say business owners, I mean managers, entrepreneurs. Even if you're trying to start a business, well, you are in business even if you're just thinking about it. That's the first start, right? But one of the 10 of the ways that you can succeed are, well, pretty much the opposite of the list I just read. So keep a to-do list. Set personal goals, goals that are smart, that are sensible and achievable and all that. Number 3, prioritize. Number 4, manage your distractions. Number 5, do not procrastinate. Number 6, do not take on too much. Number 7, don't thrive on just being busy. Number 8, do not multitask. Number 9, do take breaks. And number 10, schedule your tasks effectively. Now, that's pretty much all I have for you. So if you follow those 10 things, if you don't do the 10 things that I first listed, if you do the 10 things that I did list, then you'll be successful and a multi-gazillionaire. So how about that? Well, thank you for coming today, and I hope you come again next time. All right, I am just kidding. I wish life was easier than that, right? But it just ain't that simple. Okay, so if you're ready to learn something new and to stop doing these things or to start doing the things that will help you, then again, just play along with me here and just give a yes or a heck yeah or a yeah baby, something like that in the question box. And again, that will help you to psychologically be participating as we're going along here. And it also helps me to know that you're still listening, of course. All righty, great. Okay, let's move on. Now, I do have some new vocabulary for you today. Don't worry, there's not going to be any pop quiz or anything, but our new vocabulary is listed right here. And now I'm not going to go through all these right now. Some of these kind of look like scientific or mathematical formulas, which is kind of weird because I was an English major, right? But you'll figure them out as we go along. So I'll either explain them while we're going, or if I miss any, I'll explain them at the end. Now, we talked about the 10 different things that undermine your success, but here's 5 lies that can undermine your success. And these are really, really important. Now, I'm in control. I already knew that. I can do it, or I can fix it. I'm the only one who knows how to do it or can fix it. And if I just work harder or longer, I can take care of all the problems myself and be successful. All right, so our 5 lies that undermine business success here. I'm in control. I already knew that. I can do it, and I can fix it. I'm the only one who knows it or can do it. And if I just work harder or longer, I can take care of all my problems and be successful. But here are 5 truths that successful people live. They understand, I am not in control. I don't know everything. I can't do or fix everything. I'm not the only one who knows it or can do it or can fix it. And working harder or longer won't always take care of all my problems. So these are really important. You might even want to take a screenshot of this one. There will be a replay also, so you'll get to see the recording, and Luisa and anybody else who for some reason can't see the slides, you'll be able to see them on the recording for sure. And I'll send you a link to that when we're done, probably by tomorrow. Now, these are really important, and I'm just going to repeat them again because this is these are really important truths. And you might think, what does this have to do with time management, right? Well, there's a lot of psychology involved in time management. And if we understand these certain principles and truths, then we will be able to manage our time better and manage our employees better, manage ourselves better, and then become more successful in the long run, right? So, number 1, I am not in control. Number 2, I don't know everything. Number 3, I can't do or fix everything. Number 4, I'm not the only one who knows it or can do it or can fix it. And number 5, working harder or longer won't always take care of my problems. Now, let's do a little activity here, okay? So what I'd like you to do is just write down, and you can write them down on a piece of paper or you can type them down in the question box, whatever you want to do. But list 3 things that you know you need to do for your business, but you've been putting them off because you believe those 5 lies we were just talking about. And those 5 lies, again, I'm in control. I already knew that. I can do it. I can fix it. I'm the only one who knows how to do it or can do it or can fix it. Or if I just work harder or longer, I'll take care of all my problems. All right. So just write these down either for yourself or you can type them in the question box if you'd like to share. I'll go back through these later after the webinar and I'll be able to help you better if I know a little bit about that. Okay, so here we go with our first vocabulary word you saw on the list. It was called RAM, R-A-M. It's actually an acronym, not a word, but it means repeat after me. So what I'd like you to do is just in the privacy of your own home or office or wherever you happen to be right now, repeat after me, and I'm going to say this 3 times. Are you ready? So, I will give up control. I will do what I do best and outsource the rest. Now it's your turn, and I'll help you out. I will give up control. I will do what I do best and outsource the rest. I will give up control. I will do what I do best and outsource the rest. Now one more time. I will give up control. I will do what I do best and outsource the rest. Very good. Okay, so I'm congratulating you for participating along with me because I know that you're doing it. Even if I can't hear you, I know that you're out there and I know that you're participating with me. So good job. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. Why did we just do that? Well, here's another one of our new vocabulary words, or this is kind of a formula here. GPP plus LC is greater than NYR or P. And what that means is group peer pressure and the law of consistency is greater than New Year's resolutions or punishment. Okay, so let me just explain and unpack that a little bit. So group peer pressure, if we were sitting in a live room together right now, and I do this seminar live sometimes, and it's kind of fun, everybody is saying this at the same time together and looking at each other, watching each other as they're saying it, right? So what that does is it kind of creates a type of group peer pressure. And if you've ever been to junior high, you know what peer pressure is, right? A lot of times, unfortunately, it's peer pressure to do things that are not good, things that our teachers and our parents wouldn't want us doing. And then we get caught and they ask, well, why did you do it? Oh, well, everybody was doing it, right? So that's group peer pressure, right? But it can also be positive. Group peer pressure can be done in a positive way, like we're doing here. And the next thing is the law of consistency. This is a psychological principle that says if you tell another human being that you're going to do something, unless you're a psychopath who's a habitual liar, then you are going to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to feel guilty, right? So you usually will do it. You'll follow through. If you look somebody in the eye and say, yes, I will be there Saturday at noon to help with the blood drive or the food drive or whatever it is. Or, yes, boss, I will get this project done by 4 o'clock today. Or, yes, customer, I will have this proposal back to you by Tuesday at 3 p.m. or whatever, right? So if we say it to another person, then we're much more likely to follow through and do it. And then they're greater than what? Well, New Year's resolutions. And we know how much those are worth because the average person makes a New Year's resolution and then within 2 or 3 weeks forgets what it was all about. And that's why gyms, like workout gyms, you make a whole bunch of money because they get a whole bunch of people signing up in the first week or 2 of January and then they never show up again. But they still pay their gym membership. Anyway, and then the last one is punishment, okay? So sometimes we can do things under duress, right? Because we don't want to be punished. I mean, when we're kids, we don't want to be spanked or we don't want to be set in the corner or we don't want to miss recess at school or whatever. But a better motivation is these other 2 things, positive group peer pressure and the law of consistency. So if you say you're going to do something, then you'll do it. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about planning for just a minute. Now, first thing I'm going to say is, it sounds kind of weird, but I'm going to say it. Don't try to plan or do everything. Well, but wait a minute, Dr. Clark, you might be thinking. what we have to plan, right? Well, yes, of course we have to plan. But what I mean here is don't try to plan or do everything yourself, right? Because remember, you're not in control. You can't do everything yourself, and you're going to do what you do best and outsource the rest. And sometimes you might come up with some fantabulous ideas, which is cool. But it's better to get input from other people, from your employees, from your business partners, from mentors or coaches, from your customers, right? Get input from them before you try to make big, grandiose plans. And then also you want to identify your strengths. I'd like to recommend a really good book. It's called The Strengths Finder 2.0. Strengths Finder, all one word, 2.0. And you can find it on Amazon or in lots of bookstores. And it's really cool because it helps you identify your top 5 strengths. And then you know what, I mean, you might have an idea of what you think your top 5 strengths are, but after you read this book and take their little quiz, it'll identify your top 5 strengths. And then what they recommend is that you do only the things that are in your strengths categories, and then either hire or outsource or get people to volunteer or whatever you can do. I know starting up small businesses is pretty difficult sometimes, and so you're relying on friends and family and everything. But if you can get other people who are good at those other things that you're not good at to do the things that you're not good at, then you can do the things that you're best at, and you will be much more successful in the long run. Now, here's a truth about planning. If you say, I don't have time to plan, that's going to do harm to your business and probably your personal life as well. So take time to plan. But again, don't just do it by yourself. Ask for help. It's quite all right. Now, here's a little activity we can do. And if you can just, again, either type this into the question box or just write it in your notebook, and then write down 3 goals that you have. Just one for this week, one for this year, and then one that's maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years out. And again, if you'd like to type that in the question box and share it with me, that would be great. I will go through these later on, and I'll even send you an email to maybe give you some advice on that. All right, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to do this. This is the awkward silence part. Okay, so remember, you don't need to write a book here. You just list them out, and just something you can get done today or tomorrow, sometime this week. Something that it might take you a few months or a year to get done. And then something else that is a little longer term, 2, 3, 4, 5 years out. Alrighty then. So hopefully you've got a couple of good goals to work on, and now we're next to our next RAM session here, which remember means repeat after me. And I'm just going to say it out loud, and then I'll let you say it out loud 3 times as well. So, I will take time to plan, and that will help my business succeed. All right, now it's your turn. I will take time to plan, and that will help my business succeed. Number 2, I will take time to plan, and that will help my business succeed. And the 3rd time, I will take time to plan, and that will help my business succeed. All righty, congratulations. Okay, so if you're playing along here and repeating after me and writing down your notes, then that's really good, because I know that you are serious about really being successful, managing your time, making your business into something that is going to grow and make a difference in the world, right? Okay, now let's talk about organization just a little bit. Again, I don't like to be negative, but sometimes we have to, just to make a point here. So I really don't like using the word fail or failing, but in this case, it's important to just live up to it and own it and understand that failing to organize is a recipe for failure, right? So we need to understand in our organization who does what. We need to be organized and not just everybody just doing what they feel like each day, or if you're a solo entrepreneur, you just trying to figure out what you're going to do each day. You want to create specific tasks, specific roles, specific policies for each person in your organization, and if it's only you, then you create specific tasks and roles and policies for yourself. But then as you start to outsource, as you start to hire employees, as you start to get volunteers to help you, whatever, then you ask them to do specific tasks and have specific roles and follow specific policies. And then you want to stick to them, right? And this is extremely, extremely important because, and here's another one of our vocabulary words, PO equals F. Poor organization equals failure. And none of us want to be there. So let's not dwell on that. And instead, let's do another little activity here. So just get a piece of paper out or type in the question box and list 3 things that you're really great at and that you also love doing. And then list 3 things that you're, well, not very good at and you hate doing. And maybe you're even actually okay at doing it, but it's really something you hate doing. You just dislike doing. Now, I'll just give you a couple of examples from my own business and life, right? So one of the things that I love doing is speaking in front of other people. I just love getting up and sharing things and telling stories and giving examples and helping people learn. I spent many years as a college professor, okay? And so I learned how to do that. But even before that and since then, I've do a lot of live seminars and live programs, keynote speeches, those kind of things. And I just love sharing with other people. Now, one thing that I don't like doing is calling up organizations and businesses and asking them to hire me to come to their business and do a speech, or come to their banquet and do a speech, or do a training session for their organization, stuff like that. I love doing the actual training, but I don't actually like going through and doing what's called cold calling, right? And just calling people up and saying, "Hi, I'm a great speaker. Why don't you hire me for your next banquet or for your next annual training session," right? So that's something that I could do. Actually, it could probably fall in the second category, right? It's that I don't really like doing that part. So one thing I'm great at that I really love doing, I get lots of great feedback, is people say, "I love your style and you tell funny jokes and you teach us things that are valuable," all that kind of stuff. So I know that I'm good at it because people have told me, not just because I think I am, right? But the things that one of the things I'm not great at that I don't really like doing is just calling up people and trying to get them to hire me to do that kind of stuff. So, all right, great. Now, hopefully you've got a list of your own right there. And this leads us to our next RAM moment, our repeat after me moment here. And this one says, "I will create specific tasks, roles, and policies and stick to them." So now it's your turn. It's the first time. I will create specific tasks, roles, and policies and stick to them. Second time. I will create specific tasks, roles, and policies and stick to them. And then number 3, I will create specific tasks, roles, and policies and stick to them. And one of those policies might be, I will do what I do best and outsource the rest, right? Okay, so this is all kind of coming together here, I hope, in your mind. All righty. Now, let's take a look at some of these vocabulary words and formulas here, and so that I talked about earlier, and let's just make sure we covered them all, and if we didn't, I'll go just explain them. So RAM was repeat after me, and then the GPP plus LC is greater than NYR or P, is group pressure, or the law of consistency plus the law of consistency is greater than New Year's resolutions or punishment. Now here's one I don't think we talked about. BP equals SP, which stands for big problems create successful people, or big problems equals successful people. Now, we all have problems. But we don't want problems. We don't like problems, right? But the good news is that the bigger problems that we have, that means we are being more successful, okay? So for an example, when I was younger and I had I was just working in a job and I just got my check and every Friday and that just showed up for work, well, I didn't have a whole lot of problems because I just had to do what the boss said, and as long as I did what I was told, and I'd get my paycheck at the end of the month or at the end of the week. Well, as I've become more successful and more, my enterprises have grown in my own businesses and speaking and performing and everything else that I'm doing. Now I have bigger problems, okay? If I can't, if I don't bring in a certain amount of income each month, then I can't pay my employees and people that I contract work out to, right? And I can't pay for my services that I use, my online services. For example, this GoToWebinar system I'm using right now, it's not free. I have to pay for that every month somehow, right? So that you could say that's a problem, that I have to pay for all this stuff and pay for people and resources and all that. But that's okay, because that means that I'm actually creating an income and creating opportunities for other people too, right? So I have younger people who are working with me and do certain tasks for me, and they are learning as they're going, and hopefully someday they'll be running their own businesses, right? So even though it may seem like some big problems, though you need to have big problems in order to overcome them, and then you become more successful. All right. Now, this one we kind of talked about a little bit, but let's just be a little more specific. D plus O equals F S to the 7th power. And sorry, I couldn't figure out how to do just a little 7 in the top there like the mathematicians do. But what this means is delegating plus outsourcing equals freedom and success, and then that's exponential to the power of 7, because the more you delegate and the more you outsource, the more freedom you have, and then the more successful your business is going to be. So remember back again where we learned about I can't do everything, I can't solve every problem, I can't do everything myself. We need to ask other people for help. So we want to delegate certain tasks. And which tasks are we going to delegate or outsource? The things that we don't do best, right? We're going to do the things that we do best, and then we'll delegate or outsource the rest. Okay, now this next one is kind of weird. I should probably have a picture for this. So, but just imagine this in your mind. TTOTP. Picture a teepee, okay? You know, a teepee is like those little houses that the Native Americans would live in They were kind of triangular shaped, right? If you look at it from a distance, they're actually round, but if you look at it from a distance, it looks like a kind of a triangle. Well, if you remember that little toy that you played on as a kid, the teeter-totter, the little wooden plank with a kid would sit on both ends and then just go up and down, right? If you tried to balance one of those on top of a teepee, that's pretty difficult, right? And if you just slide a little the wrong direction, or if one person weighs more than the other one, right, then it's not going to be balanced. It's going to just slide right off and fall off. But life is kind of like that. We need to have a balanced life, and whether it's, and now I'm talking about personal life as well as our business life. We want to have that teeter-totter balanced perfectly on top of that teepee. So all the things in our life, the things that we have to do, our relationships, our spiritual relationships, our personal relationships, our business relationships, all of our tasks that we do, our managing of our time, all of that has to be balanced. And if it is, then it's going to just lay flat right across the top of that teepee. But in a minute one of those things gets out of balance, we're going to slide off and we're going to fall down in the mud. Okay. And then another one here is OPAs, and you might have heard of this one before. Maybe you heard of OPM, other people's money, right? I think there was a movie with that with Danny DeVito, comedy. But this is OPAs, other people's agendas. There are other people who will suck up your time. I call them emotional vampires, right? You know the kind who comes into work and they just want to talk for an hour about everything that happened to them on the way to work, or how whatever happened last night at the party that they went to, things that you may or may not really want to know, right? But or other things that they want you to do, right? That's going to benefit them. Well, sometimes you have to follow other people's agendas. Maybe it's your customer and you need to fulfill your customer's agenda, right? But a lot of times you want to avoid as much as possible other people's agendas. You want to set your own agenda. Of course, you want to help people out. You want to listen to your friend or your family member who has a problem, etc. But again, manage your time appropriately so that you can do that without other people's agendas making you fall down. All right. Now, 554. This is, again, something that applies to both our personal and our business lives, but 554 stands for Maslow's 5 basic needs, the 5 daily food groups, and a daily list of 4. So let me explain. Maslow's hierarchy of needs here, your 5 basic needs of all human beings. Maslow was a psychologist back in the early 20th century, and he came up with this little triangle. I first learned about it in high school, I believe, in a psychology class. But basically, we're down here. The lowest levels are our basic needs, such as food and water and clothing, right? I mean, we can't live without that. Next, we want to be safe. We want to feel safe, and we want to have a lock on our door. We don't want bad people getting in and taking our stuff or doing bad things to us, right? The next one is a sense of love and belonging, and this could be relationships, friendships, family, being a member of a church or a community organization or something. But we all need to have that feeling of being loved and belonging to something. And then if we have all 3 of these, then we can move up to self-esteem, where we actually feel good about ourselves as a human being. I'm okay. I'm me, and that's okay. And God loves me, and my friends love me, my family loves me, and I feel good about myself, right? And then the last one here, which is the top, which is what we're all striving for, is what we call self-actualization. And that's where what you're doing what you want to do, that's going to be fulfilling. Your job, your business, your life, your free time, you're being creative, you're being able to live out all of your skills and experience, and being able to be of help to other people as well. So that's Maslow's 5 basic needs, and if you can get up to this point, you're really on your way to doing some really, really cool stuff. But remember, we're all under construction, right? So if you don't think you're at a certain level right now, then it's just something to strive for, right? Okay, now this one here, because I am a chef and I actually write cookbooks, and I have a whole website devoted to food and recipes and that kind of stuff, plus having worked in 14 different restaurants in my life, food is very important to me. Okay, so I want it to be important to you too, not because it's important to me, because I think it's important to everybody. And you just want to follow your 5 basic food groups and make sure you eat properly, and including in this maybe would be exercise as well. So if we go back to this other one, okay, eating would be at the very, very bottom, right? And you say, well, why are we talking about that when it's at the bottom and that's like the most basic thing? Well, the thing is if you don't eat properly, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to have energy. You're not going to have enough pizzazz, right? You're not going to have enough calories in your system, good calories to get you through the day and to do all the things you need to do to run your business or to manage your time, right? So you want to make sure you treat yourself well in that regard. And then finally, this 554, the 4 means a list of 4. So this means when you're doing your to-do list in the morning, don't make a list of 25 different things that you have to do, because you'll just be overwhelmed and you'll never get through them all and you'll always feel bad, right? But if you list 4 things that you need to do each day and do those 4 things, well, maybe you only got 3 out of the 4 done, but gosh, that's pretty good, right? And then you move 1 to the next day's list. But if you keep your list short like this and only do 3 or 4 things each day, now it doesn't mean only do them, but list 4 things that you need to do, that you want to do, and then you can really feel good about yourself, and then that will propel you and give you the stamina and the encouragement to say, hey, I got those 4 things done yesterday, and maybe I can do these 4 things today and tomorrow. All right? And then my last one here, this is just something kind of silly I made up. I call it the Woo H5, right? Which is 5 different woos. And so if you have a problem in your business or even in your personal life, but just ask yourself these 5 questions. Woo-hoo. Who caused the problem? Who caused this problem? Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe you caused it yourself, right? Well, then next, ask yourself, when did it start? And if you think about it, well, maybe it just started yesterday. Or maybe this has been a problem for 5 years or 10 years, right? So that'll give you some, if you just think about it, maybe there's something that you complain about with your customers or with one of your employees or with yourself, you know. When did this start to be a problem? Well, a long, long time ago. And then that leads to the next question, woo-ha. Well, why haven't I already solved it? And which leads to the next one, how? Well, how can I solve it? How can I overcome this problem? And then woo-ha, yay, I solved it. Because if you ask yourself these questions about each of your specific problems, you will arrive at some type of solution. Trust me on that. All right. So now, would you like to discover some even more valuable time management strategies? And maybe you'd like some individual help continuing on your journey. Well, remember, the road to success is always under construction, and we can't always do it by ourselves. We need to ask for help, right? So I have some really good news for you right now, and by listening to this webinar, you have just earned an 80% discount off your first hour of coaching with me, okay? And this means that you could have an hour to talk to me and explain some of your issues and some of the things that are holding you back as far as managing your time or running your business or confronting other people's agendas and trying to stand up for yourself, anything like that. Trust me, I have been through it before, and I've helped many, many, many other people get through it, get through these things, and I'm willing to help. So the cool thing is that I really want to help you, okay? And so I am offering you this discount because you took the time to be here on this webinar, and I want to reward people who take action. And I also know that sometimes we think about things and we say, yeah, I really should do something about that, and yeah, I don't know, but I don't know, I really can't afford it, or it's going to take too much time or whatever. Well, this is not, I'm not selling you a course that is 8 weeks long that you have to go to every week, or that you have to go through hours and hours of modules on a recorded course, etc. This is just a 1 hour, one-time thing. And why do I do this? Well, is because I find that I can help people this way, and I love helping people, and that's my main motivation right there. But what I've also found is that once people understand the fact that they can be helped, and once you understand that there's somebody out there who's on your side, who's your coach, who's going to stand up for you, who's also going to maybe call you on your BS a little bit if you need it, right? Then you might want to continue doing that, and that's one of the ways that I make my living, okay? So I'll be honest with you with that. But the deal is right now is for only $27, 27 bucks, I mean, a little more than a takeout pizza, really, you can have a whole hour to talk with me and let me help you at least get started with this process. So if that sounds good to you, if that's something that you think would be helpful to you, you can just go to this URL. It's pretty easy. It's bit.ly/coaching with Lawrence, all one word. So bit.ly/coaching with Lawrence. So just go to that website, and and then plug in, it actually asks you to plug in the agreed upon amount, okay? So you'll just put in $27 as the amount, and then I will get an email. And this is how it works. I'll get an email that you put that in, and then I will contact you by email, and we'll set up a time, and sometime within the next week, and we will talk on the phone, or we can talk by webinar, or we can talk by Skype, any way that is best for you, and we'll take care of that, right? So there you go. 27 bucks for a whole hour of coaching with Lawrence. bit.ly coaching with Lawrence. So I'd like to thank you for attending our Successful Business Training Series today. Remember, this is sponsored by the Communication Leader and the South Valley Economic Development Center. So that's pretty much all I have for you. So I thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye now.